Well, Palestinians in the West Bank cheered after a historic vote at the United Nations, a vote that raises their status and could be a possible step toward official statehood. The vote was on the calendar 8 days before fighting erupted between Israel and Hamas militants in Gaza. 138 countries voted yes, 41 abstained, 9 voted no. Leading the vote against giving the Palestinian territories observer state status were Israel and the United States. Here's what U.S. Ambassador to the UN Susan Rice said to the General Assembly after the vote.
Today's unfortunate and counterproductive resolution places further obstacles in the path to peace. That is why the United States voted against it. Today's grand pronouncements will soon fade, and the Palestinian people will wake up tomorrow and find that little about their lives has changed.
Well, Einat Wilf is a member of the Israeli Knesset and is on the Foreign Affairs and Defense Committee, and she joins me from Tel Aviv. And thank you so much for being here. Let me ask, why do you think you were only able to get 9 votes despite very heavy lobbying efforts within the United Nations?
I think most countries, unlike the U.S., had a deep misunderstanding as to what the vote was about. Many countries, and I'm talking about countries of goodwill, not ones that have a history of voting against Israel and would like to see the country disappear. Countries, especially in Europe, thought that they were voting for something that would promote peace. They actually thought that by abstaining or supporting this vote, this would actually promote the idea of a two-state solution. The reason that they made a mistake is that in doing so, they were essentially privileging one aspect of the conflict, which is statehood, over other very important aspects that were not addressed in this resolution. And this is why Ambassador Rice also mentioned that it was counterproductive, because it essentially let the Palestinians an easy way to feel good, which is nice and important, but without forcing them to actually take the difficult decisions that would truly lead to statehood at the end of the day.
But Ms. Wilf, let me ask a question, and that is, the Palestinian Authority, which was sort of almost a secondary player during Israel and Hamas's conflict in Gaza, it seems as if when you say that they thought that this vote would promote peace, doesn't it? Because the Palestinian Authority acknowledges Israel's right to exist, whereas Hamas does not. So what is it that people seem not to understand about what this means?
I'll give you an example. There are about 5 million Palestinians who are born, have lived, their parents, their grandparents have lived in the West Bank and Gaza or have citizenship of third countries, and yet they call themselves refugees. They have the status by a UN General Assembly organization funded by the U.S. and many European countries, and they claim that they have the right to relocate into Israel. This is not an idea that can sit well with a two-state solution. In actuality, it actually means that the Arabs and Palestinians do not accept the idea of a two-state solution. They accept that Israel exists. They do not accept the original idea of the partition resolution of 47, that there will be a Jewish state and an Arab state. This is, for example, something that was not in the resolution, and this is why it's a problematic one.
Well, in the terms of the two-state solution, when people think about a two-state solution, they see one state as being the Palestinian territories, Gaza and the West Bank, the other state obviously being Israel as it exists now. But your government seems ready to approve the building of 3,000 new housing units in occupied territory. The Palestinians have called that an act of defiance. One pacifist called it a heart attack, a fatal heart attack to the two-state solution. Why do this, and why do it now?
In general, I do think there's a bit of unconstructive behavior on the two sides. People are taking symbolic acts. This is also symbolic acts. The plans are way into the future, not to be exactly realized tomorrow. rather than actually sitting down. And the thing is that especially the Palestinians and the Arabs have avoided negotiating with a strong, stable, and moderate government in Israel for the past 3 years, every time using this or that excuse. And they keep on avoiding the difficult decisions that will need to be made to establish a state. It includes territory, it includes finally recognizing that Israel is the Jewish state, which means that 5 million Arabs who were never born there cannot claim that they have to relocate there. It means a lot of difficult things for the Arabs and Palestinians. And by continuing to just take unconstructive steps and engage in kind of tit for tat, they're not going to have a state. And at the end of the day, we need to remember, in 1947, when the Jewish people were faced with the choice,
and they offered the two-state solution, and the Palestinians rejected it.
The Arabs will have one.
Yeah, and so Israeli Knesset member Einat Wilf, and we really appreciate a Jewish state.
Yes,
we really appreciate your time, and we really appreciate your insights and bringing some of these important issues to light for us. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we look forward to continuing the conversation at another time. Thank you.